and you see that that's rising. And so this is an evolutionary process. And it's true that what happens is you get more free time. Okay. So now the society has to think, how do I deal with this? So, for example, the work week, which used to be, a 60 or 70-hour work week, goes down to less than a 40-hour work week, and there's more time. But there needs to be, how do you create a bottom? And so we're going through this phase in which there is this upper end that is making incredible amounts of wealth, as we described, and then this lower end that is then having these challenges. We have a relatively good economy, and the difficulty of college graduates to get employment has increased significantly. And I can tell you that in many businesses, it becomes more of a pain in the neck to have a college graduate, let's say, do it. You have to train them, you have to, and many of those tasks, many of that thing can be done very quickly with the AI and with computerization. And as you get into robotics, you're going to have that happen, right?
The speed of the disruption that we're seeing, because of the amount of capital that's flowing into these AI frontier models like the Anthropics and OpenAI, et cetera, is quite different from anything else, sort of the historical precedences we've seen through the Industrial Revolution, where it took time to build the tractors.
There's an element of speed. What happens usually is the bubble bursts,
mm-hmm.
and now you have the cyclical dynamic of that while the technology, evolves. But the supply demand and the debt problem that we just talked about then come in. And so unemployment is due to typically some sort of a combination of a financial crisis that, like we talked about, the debt and stocks going down and people not having collateral and then therefore not buying assets, and that dynamic, that causes the unemployment rate, that factor.
That's the sort of economic reasons. But in terms of the AI agents, robotics being able to replace you, I've sat with Dara from Uber, and Dara said that he imagines in the future, the 9 million riders that they have around the world doing deliveries will be replaced by autonomous vehicles, autonomous robots. Those 9 million drivers' careers that you have will be out of work, conceivably, talking about being honest about the situation.
Yeah, I think, again, it goes to physical AI as well, right? So I think 20 years from now, you can imagine that those 9 million will be 20 million AVs maybe. But we have time between now and then, partially because we don't operate in the virtual world, right? We operate in the physical world. You have to get the regulations up. You have to build the cars. You have to build the sensor stacks. The models have to get there. So there is time between now and then, but you can imagine the majority of our trips being fulfilled by robots of some kind.
The unemployment rate gets very influenced by the bubble bursting and the economy going down. You see that spike.
Mm-hmm.
You certainly have the evolutionary change that you're referring to.
Okay, so it's both.
In other words, there's this evolutionary thing in which they, like he says, the tractor replaces the laborer, or the assembly line worker as technology is replaced. And that is an evolutionary thing that goes continuously for, many years, and in the way that you're describing. Because you asked about the unemployment rate,